Have you ever wondered what drives the Nazgûl, those terrifying wraiths that serve Sauron so relentlessly? Their mere presence sends chills down the spines of even the bravest. But how did these dark servants come to be? The story of the Nazgûl is one of power, corruption, and a fate worse than death. Why did these once great kings fall so completely under Sauron's control? What dark magic turned them from mortal men into the terrifying Ringwraiths that haunt Middle-earth? The truth behind their origins is as chilling as the wraiths themselves. The Nazgûl, also known as the Ringwraiths, are among the most fearsome beings in J.R.R. Tolkien's Middle-earth. Their fall from glory as kings of men to the evil servants of Sauron is a tale of betrayal, greed, and the One Ring's corrupting power. These frightening and tragic ghostly beings, dressed in black robes, symbolize the total loss of humanity in return for power. Their very existence is evidence of the dangerous attraction of the Rings of Power and of Sauron's cleverness. The Nazgûl were first created in the Second Age, when Sauron tricked the elven smiths of Eregion into creating the Rings of Power by disguising as Anatar, the Lord of Gifts. 9 of these rings were given away to strong mortal men who were keen to establish and maintain their authority, such as kings, sorcerers, and warriors. These rings, however, were a part of Sauron's larger plan because he had secretly created the One Ring, the Master Ring that would bind and dominate all others. With the use of this ring, Sauron was able to control the thoughts and desires of those wearing the lesser rings, tempting them forcibly into his service. These warriors paid an awful price for their rings, which gave them extraordinary power and an unusually long life. Their humanity was gradually drained by the rings, which also bound their souls to Sauron. Over time, they became wraiths, neither living nor dead, unable to resist the dark will of the One Ring. They became shadows, invisible entities whose physical bodies vanished and were only apparent when they wore their black robes. As a result, the 9 kings were transformed into the Nazgûl, depending on Sauron's desire, and destined to serve him forever. The Nazgûl were Sauron's most feared and loyal servants because of their servitude. They obeyed Sauron's orders and sought the One Ring with steadfast loyalty. The most formidable of the 9, the Witch King of Angmar, led the Nazgûl, who were important in Sauron's attempts to take over Middle-earth. Their mere sight was enough to cause fear, and they were frequently deployed to terrorize Sauron's enemies by spreading misery and darkness wherever they went. The final battles of Sauron's attempt to rule Middle-earth, known as the Wars of the Ring, saw a great deal of power from the Nazgûl. Their relentless hunt for the One Ring, the origin of Sauron's power, was the reason behind all of their actions. The Nazgûl were sent to search the area once the ring vanished and its location was discovered, leaving evidence of destruction and terror in their wake. Their ghostly figures were a symbol of terror, and their very presence was enough to evoke fear. As Gandalf ominously noted, "They are the Nazgûl, the Ringwraiths, neither living nor dead. At all times they feel the presence of the ring, drawn to the power of the One." Their first major appearance during the Third Age came with the assault on the Shire. Hidden in the shadows, the Nazgûl attacked the peaceful region, seeking the One Ring, which they knew belonged to Frodo Baggins. Motivated by a singular goal to get the ring, they terrified the people of the Shire. During this time, the Old Forest and the Barrow Downs were among the crucial sites where the Nazgûl were unsettlingly present, looking for the ring-bearer and his allies. In the words of Aragorn, the riders are no longer divided. They are united, and now they hunt the ring-bearer without rest. The siege of Rivendell greatly increased the power of the Nazgûl. The Ringwraiths played a crucial role in the hunt for the elves' secret refuge as they followed Frodo and his friends. They were deadly enemies to the forces of good due to their command of black magic and their capacity to induce fear. They demonstrated their undying commitment to Sauron's desire by following the Ring-bearer, despite many difficulties. Frodo himself felt the weight of their presence, saying, "I can feel their eyes. They are searching for me. The ring draws them." The Nazgûl's biggest moment occurred during the siege of Minas Tirith, when they were important for the outcome of the Battle of the Pelennor Fields. Leading an army of sinister creatures and frightening enemies, the Witch King of Angmar led the attack on the city as the head of the Nazgûl. The sound of his flying horses' cries and the panic that spread through Gondor's lines signaled his approach. The Witch King's arrival on the battlefield represented the height of Sauron's evil strength and the terrible danger it posed to Middle-earth. "No living man may hinder me," the Witch King declared, a threat that was eventually met with a fulfilled prophecy when a lady named Éowyn faced and defeated him. The attack on the Black Gate of Mordor was their last significant action. The Nazgûl played an essential part in maintaining the siege and making sure that no threat to their master's dominion remained unchecked when Sauron's power reached its peak. Their invisible shapes served as an ongoing symbol of the evil powers that Middle-earth's free peoples fought. They were clearly Sauron's primary enforcers, judging by the anxiety and fear they created in the enemy's hearts. Aragorn reassured his allies throughout the fierce struggle, saying, "There is always hope, even in the darkest of times. We must stand firm." The Nazgûl's horror over Middle-earth came to an end with the destruction of the One Ring at Mount Doom. The Nazgûl lost the dark energy that had held them captive to Sauron's will when the One Ring, the source of their strength, was destroyed. The Ringwraiths and their lord were finally abandoned when the great force that had kept them alive and undead for centuries evaporated in an instant. As Gandalf proclaimed, "The realm of Sauron is ended. The Ringwraiths are no more." The Nazgûl met a quick and terrible end. The fires of Mount Doom devoured the Nazgûl as the ring was shattered. The prophecy that no living man may hinder the Witch King, the most formidable of the nine, had already come true when he was defeated by Éowyn and Merry at the Battle of the Pelennor Fields. The fiery explosion that followed the shattering of the ring trapped the surviving Nazgûl, who had been sent to protect the path to Mount Doom. As the flames consumed them, their cries of pain echoed throughout Gorgoroth's plains. The dark towers of Barad-dûr collapsed into ruin, and they perished, and the last vestiges of their power vanished. The Nazgûl's dark shadow over Middle-earth was removed with the end of them. After living in constant fear of these wraiths, the free peoples of Middle-earth could now breathe easily. In addition to signifying the end of Sauron's rule, the defeat of the Nazgûl also represented the release from the terror that had enveloped so many people. "A great evil has been vanquished this day, and a new age dawns upon us," Aragorn said, wondering about the end of their existence. But the Nazgûl's memory remained as an upsetting reminder of the price paid for chasing power without considering the consequences. They were once mighty kings, revered and respected in their realms, but their lust for power led to their downfall. Their transformation into wraiths is a warning about the dangers of yielding to evil forces and the corrupting influence of the rings of power. As Frodo once mused, they were not always wraiths. They were men once, great kings of men. Then Sauron gave them rings of power, and they were seduced by their promises. Middle-earth started to mend from damage caused by the Nazgûl and their master following the War of the Ring. Prosperity and peace were gradually restored to the regions they had destroyed. After being threatened by the Black Riders, the Shire flourished under Samwise Gamgee's guidance, since he was instrumental in ending Sauron's rule. Free from the fear of the Ringwraiths, the Free Peoples rebuilt and repaired their homelands in Rivendell, Minas Tirith, and other strongholds. As he rose to the throne of Gondor, Aragorn declared, There is a future for Middle-earth, a future without fear. The Nazgûl were destroyed, but their memories lived on in history books, making sure that their tale would never be forgotten. They were the subject of tales and melodies that served as a reminder of the evil that had previously threatened Middle-earth. Future generations are cautioned against pursuing power at all costs by the Ringwraiths, who came to represent terror and corruption. As Elrond once said, "Let this be a lesson to all who seek dominion. The path of the Ringwraiths leads only to darkness and despair." The Ringwraiths were once human beings with lives, families, and kingdoms of their own, despite their horrific appearance and relentless quest for the One Ring. The ring's corrupting effect and Sauron's manipulations caused them to gradually lose their identity, which is why they became wraiths rather than instantly turning evil. Before surrendering to the shadows, one of them cried out, "We were kings once, men of honor and pride. We are now only shadows." Every one of them had hopes, anxieties, and dreams that were all warped and consumed by the darkness from which they were unable to escape. The echoes of the men they once were remain in their haunting cries and unrelenting pursuit, lost souls stuck in a life they neither completely understood nor chose. Their fate serves as a tragic reminder that even the mightiest can fall when power is pursued at any cost. The tragic tragedy of lost humanity and the dangers of reckless ambition is told in the tale of the Nazgûl. They were once honorable kings who were deceived by the rings of power's promise of might and immortality. But as the darkness of the One Ring gradually ate away at them, they lost their basic essence and didn't get stronger. As their identities fell apart, they became wraiths, shadows of the people they once were, eternally enslaved to Sauron's bidding. Their spectral cries carry the echo of their former selves, a menacing reminder of the men they once were. Their very presence acts as an urgent reminder about the dangers of attempting to rule over others. Formerly arrogant rulers, the Nazgûl turned to terrifying tools, subject to the very evil they attempted to control. Their tragic end serves as a frightening warning that seeking power at all costs can result in a fate far worse than death, one in which even the memory of one's past self is lost to the darkness. Their narrative highlights the thin line separating humanity from the terrifying. It is a cautionary tale that has stood the test of time. What impact did the Nazgûl's absence have on the Free People's spirits? The Nazgûl's absence at pivotal points significantly impacted the defenders of Middle-earth's morale. Fear and worry might be felt just by looking at the Ringwraiths. They were never-ending sources of dread and terror. There was a huge psychological benefit for the Free Peoples when the Nazgûl were not actively hunting or spreading darkness. Their absence freed them from the suffocating anxiety that the Ringwraiths brought, allowing them to reorganize, plan, and strengthen their positions. Now that these evil servants were no longer an endless danger, the defenders could turn their attention to their current problems and attack them with newfound energy and resolve. What effects did the Nazgûl legends have on Sauron's and the Free People's strategic choices? The mythical and terrifying Nazgûl legend had a significant impact on Sauron and the Free People's strategic thinking. In addition to being tools of horror, the Ringwraiths represented Sauron's might and the sinister appeal of the One Ring. Because of their renown, he was able to use terror as a strategic tool and psychologically manipulate his adversaries. On the other hand, the Free People's knowledge of the terrifying past of the Nazgûl led them to approach their defense with a combination of caution and resourcefulness. This historical consciousness resulted in the creation of targeted measures and a deliberate effort to weaken the Nazgûl's psychological influence. As a result, the Ringwraith mythology had a crucial role in influencing Sauron's offensive plans, as well as the defenders of Middle-earth's defensive stance. The story of the Nazgûl, also known as Ringwraiths, is a chilling example of the dangers when giving in to darkness and the corrupting effect of power. They were once honorable rulers, but Sauron's guileless rings of power deceived them, turning them into wraiths obedient to his auctions. Their journey from magnificence to horror serves as a warning about the dangers of unrestrained ambition and the sneaky ways of the One Ring, which trapped them in a life that was worse than death. That is, as phantom servants lacking humanity. They embodied Sauron's evil influence, spreading terror and despair as they chased the One Ring with unyielding determination. Their final demise with the ring brought an end to an era of terror in Middle-earth, restoring hope and allowing its people to rebuild and thrive. The Nazgûl's history serves as a terrifying reminder of the cost of seeking dominance at any cost, as well as the thin line that separates humanity from the abyss of evil. Their story highlights the psychological impact of their horror on both Sauron's plans and the morale of the free peoples, illustrating the deeply the Ringwraiths influenced Middle-earth's history. Thank you for joining me today as we delved into the chilling origins and dark history of the Ringwraiths. If you enjoyed unraveling the story behind these fearsome servants of Sauron, be sure to like, subscribe, and click the bell icon so you don't miss any future explorations into Middle-earth's mysteries. I'm curious, how do you think the history of the Nazgûl might have unfolded differently if their rings of power had been used in other ways? And what are your thoughts on the lasting impact of their reign on Middle-earth? Share your theories and reflections in the comments below.